Hi, welcome to my legislative report. My name is Lee James. I'm a state representative of District 64 in western Pennsylvania. That includes all of Venango County and a portion of northern Butler County. I'm excited today to be here at one of the important employers in Venango County. As you can see, it's Pepro Energy Products. Pepro is in the business of mobile and remote telecommunications, and I'm pleased to introduce its president, Kelly Lander. This is a veteran-owned business established in 1992, and I've asked Kelly to join me here and give you a description of the important work that they do in Venango County. Hi, Kelly.
Nice
How
to
are
meet you. I'm glad you came to see our shop and get a tour.
Well, I appreciate the invitation. Very kind. Could you tell us a little bit today about what your line of work is here?
We manufacture shielded telecommunications enclosures and shelters, as well as mobile trailers for emergency response communications. Our customers are, municipalities, states. We also provide a lot of our remote sites to the federal government, the U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, largest customers, and we also are a preferred vendor for Motorola.
Big company.
Big company, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your suppliers. Where do you get your raw material?
The majority, over 75% of our suppliers come directly from, or right here in Pennsylvania.
Outstanding.
Most of them are right in this general area within the county, within, I would say, probably a 50-mile radius. And currently we have 19 employees, and hoping to expand in the not too distant future.
Good. Well, I hope you do too. Perhaps there's something the state can do to assist in your endeavors there. I'm also interested in your sales. I understand that you may do some international sales as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that's a fairly recent development. We've sold units to the South America and Latin American countries. We've got some units in Costa Rica, Colombia. We've got bids out to Venezuela and Mexico. We've sold
anything on our northern neighbors?
Yes, we've sold mobile units and some of our accessories to Canada. The City of Toronto has one of our mobile units that they used for the G20 that happened 2 years ago.
Well, viewers will be pleased about that. That means you're bringing international dollars back here to Pennsylvania, and that's terrific.
Yes.
Absolutely outstanding.
We are also have been invited to participate in a trade mission to Canada. That will take place in April. We'll be going to Toronto to meet with possible representatives and potential customers, as well as a couple other cities that we'll be visiting to meet with potential customers. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're excited about that development, and hoping to expand a lot of business up there.
Kelly, I understand that since, I believe it's 1993, that your products here that you market to the general public have never had a failure and have never let their customers down. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The company got its start in 1992 when National Fuel Gas approached Vic Armstrong, who's the founder of the company. He owns Pioneer Electric Supply in Franklin, and National Fuel Gas approached them about having an enclosure that would protect their SCADA equipment, their monitoring equipment, from lightning and other environmental factors that could harm the equipment or interfere with it. So he went on a search to try and find that product, and it just wasn't out there. So he decided, he's an electrical engineer, and he decided to come up with a solution that would protect the equipment from lightning and any other environmental factors that could affect it. 93 was the first unit to be deployed for National Fuel, and there are quite a few of those units that are still in operation, and since 1992, or 93, none of their equipment has ever been affected. They've not experienced any loss or failure due to lightning or any other environmental factors.
No snakes, no bugs?
No snakes, no bugs.
No animals?
No animals, no electromagnetic interference or radio frequency interference.
Yeah, which is very important.
Very important.
Now,
yeah.
it would seem to me that emergency management types could use this service. Are you engaged with them in any way?
Yes, absolutely. It was a natural progression to move into telecommunications and emergency management. And that's how a lot of our units were deployed to the mountains out in the west for the National Forest or the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management, as well as here in our own state, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association have purchased, we have 4 units down in the Philadelphia area that are used for emergencies to provide communications for those areas. We also, there's a unit up over the hill here that EMCO West. It's the comparable unit for the Philadelphia area, but it's in our 5-county area. They have one of our mobile units that provides emergency communications for disasters or other emergencies.
Well, I was thinking about economic impact. Now, it's clear you have employees here who are salaried and so forth, and those are family-sustaining jobs, as we like to hear about. That's a very good thing. You're using up to 75% of your supplies and so forth are from Pennsylvania businesses. This is terrific. How about the future? Where do you see the company going at this point?
Well, growing. I'd definitely like to see us expanding. We have some different negotiations going on with other companies that are looking for us to manufacture some products for them that are complementary to what we provide. One of those is a hybrid power system, which we actually showed our own hybrid power system on a mobile unit at a recent trade show out in Las Vegas, which is going to be utilized by the Bureau of Land Management. But as far as this new proposition, it would definitely provide additional jobs for our area and increase sales and bringing in more suppliers. So I see it definitely having positive impact on our area.
Outstanding. A lot of your a lot of your products, I take it, because of the remote locations, have to be helicoptered into mountaintops and things of that nature.
Yes.
That's actually pretty fascinating. It's been entertaining and informative to learn about your company out here at the front door. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to help us with a tour.
Sure thing.
We'll be joined inside by our city manager, our mayor, and also the head of our Chamber of Commerce.
Great.
Okay,
Wonderful.
good.
Thank you.
We'll see you inside.
Okay.
Okay, we're inside this manufacturing facility of Pepro, and today we're joined by some of the key people in our community. With any municipality, there's some folks that promote economic development and keep the ball rolling. I'd like to introduce Sue Williams, our Executive Director of the Venango Chamber of Commerce, Eric Shaw, who's our City Manager in the City of Oil City, and Barb Crudo, our Mayor, City of Oil City. Thank you all for joining us. I want to call in now one of the key players in Pepro, the Sales Manager, Jeff Kale. He's the expert around there. He's going to tell us a little bit about the manufacturing process. Jeff?
Thank you,
You're
Representative,
welcome.
and distinguished guest. Thank you for coming up here today. It's our pleasure to kind of give you a tour of what we do up here in Oil City, PA, and the 64th District. Raw material comes in to our shop, gets transported back here to the end of the shop. You'll see some sheets of aluminum. You'll see some bar stock, some 2-inch bar stock. We have engineered drawings of everything we manufacture. We have a shear just across the way, and we have a cutoff saw here. Everything is cut to the dimensions for those drawings. They're put on a skid, and that skid is a kit for whether it be a fixed site, a walk-in shelter, a cabinet. It may go to a pen and tilt. It may go to a microsite. There are lots of different things. Everything stays together with a serial number as it moves through the shop into a finished product. Tim Ferris, an employee, is running the saw today. These kits are cut out. Some of them go right across here for welding. Some of them go to an outside vendor located within 50 miles of Pepro. I think we can move to the next station now.
I think that'd be great. Let's do it. Okay, Jeff, do me a favor. Tell me where we are now in the process.
Okay, thank you. We're here where actual shelters are welded together. These shelters are welded by a couple gentlemen that are employed by Wither-Up Manufacturing, Chris Stearns and Les Miller. They are members of the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers, and they have to be qualified welders to do this. Working with aluminum is different than steel. It's a whole nother ballgame, and these gentlemen have been qualified and they do great work. If you would look at the corner weld on these buildings, how straight and even those are, that is true craftsmanship there, true example of a professional welder. If you look inside, you'll see all the stitch welding that needs to be put in there so that as this goes together, walls, floor, roof, and the different studs in there, the 2x2 studs, everything has to remain straight and true and even. And these guys are professionals and do a great job. If you look in there, you'll see a lot of bracing, a lot of studs. This is kind of the bare bones. As we move through to the finished product, you won't see any of this. You'll see paneling, insulation, you'll see a rubber floor, you'll see racks, you'll see conduit, lights. Everything gets started right here and built out to a finished product.
Where do we go next, Jeff?
We have a new product we're working on, and since we have to walk by, we're going to look at our 100-foot platform tower, just down the way.
We're at the next section of the manufacturing process. Some of this equipment goes into very harsh places. We got a 100-foot tower behind us here that Jeff's going to explain in a minute, in conditions such as 45 degrees below zero and 120-mile-an-hour winds. Jeff, what is this new product?
This is a new product. This is our 100-foot platform tower, lattice tower. It is designed and kind of spec'd out on a request from a customer. A lot of these remote areas, they are have a hard time accessing it with equipment needed to put conventional pieces of shelters and towers up. And the tower, 100-foot tower, it can be as much as $3,000 a foot just for the tower. And so this one will be able to transport it up on a truck. You don't need to pour a concrete foundation. With our U4Grounds leveling jacks, they'll be able to install that. The building, an 8-foot building will sit right on that frame there. 8 by 16-foot building can sit inside that frame. And really, the benefit is certainly the lightning protection that we offer, all the equipment protection, the EMI, the RFI, but the cost savings is tremendous. It's about half the cost of the conventional way of doing it. And we've had a lot of interest. Members of different federal agencies and private groups want to see us raise this tower. We're putting the hydraulics on it right now. It'll bolt together, lay out flat. You don't have to climb it to mount equipment. That's the other thing. Anytime you have to climb a tower, you have to have 2 certified climbers there. All the antennas, coax lines will be mounted right from this tower as it extends out this way. The top 2 tower sections are laying on the floor there. The steel will be galvanized. That top section is aluminum. We're excited about it. We've had a lot of interest. And some other people that are interested in it is in the eastern part of the United States, Allegheny National Forest as well, trying to raise their point-to-point antennas, microwave dishes, over the hardwood tree canopy out here in the East Coast, which is about 80 foot. So they'll be able to put a microwave dish on the top of this tower. Out west, a lot of sites we do, 10,000 feet. You know, if you add another 10 or 20 feet to it, doesn't make any difference. But here in the east, they're concerned about the tree canopy and be able to shoot those signals over that. We'll move to some finish. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the other reasons for all of us to be excited is as the word gets out and more people hear about the high quality of these pieces of equipment, the more customers he gets, the more Pennsylvanians we put to work, and that's one of our objectives.
We're excited about that too.
Yep.
Another thing I might as well bring up here, and we don't have that here because it was sold right off the show floor. We've developed a hybrid power unit. Solar panels, a little diesel generator, batteries to run a piece of communication equipment, public safety, standby unit, such as they needed during Hurricane Sandy. It'll run 30 to 45 days. And it's kind of exciting for me personally, knowing that this hybrid power, a combination of solar, diesel, maybe some wind turbine, is taking place here in an old oil well facility, and really the place where the crude oil, the energy really started, you know, and here we've evolved into this alternate and hybrid type of energy. And another thing, and I'm not allowed to say too much, but there's another company started by a local citizen, has contacted us. He's doing the same thing, and he wants to manufacture a lot of equipment right here in this facility. And if that comes to fruition, which we should know here in another month or so, we'd be employing a lot of people.
We must be getting fairly close to the end of this construction project. Tell me where we're at now, Jeff.
We have, Representative James, we've moved from actually cutting out a kit over to welding, showing some manufacturing or putting the installation in. Now this is basically a finished product. This customer that has purchased this is the Bureau of Land Management. This is going to the state of Wyoming, and I think more specifically, this shelter is going out to Rawlins, Wyoming. They have a dispatch center there. It's degraded, and they'd like to replace it with a Pepro shelter and offer the equipment protection. If you'll notice, when we walk in and out, you'll see metal gasketing around the door. You'll see the honeycomb filter where the air conditioning is. You'll see a cable entry gland here. I guess there's no glands in there yet, but that's all in prep for the, that all verifies the Faraday cage design and keeps the integrity there. One of the things we're very concerned about is when customers in a conventional building will just drill a hole and bring electric, cable, power, or natural gas. We don't want them to do that. We support all our customers we've ever had, and we tell them if they're ever going to bring another line in there to call us. Now, a big issue is satellites and data. They want to be able to send that data through microwave dishes, and that's a lot of times an RF cable, but a lot of times it's a Cat5 cable, and they say, how do I bring that in? And we've seen them try to do it themselves, and that doesn't get us too happy. But we say, if ever you're adding equipment or need to penetrate the building, call us, and we'll make sure you don't compromise the Faraday cage design. And this is what our customer wants here. You'll see when we first started out, it was a basic building. Now, as I've mentioned, they ask us to do more and more. You'll see these racks in here, these 19-inch equipment racks. You'll see the ground bars above each rack. Their equipment, the equipment will be grounded right to there. You'll see the receptacles. You'll see the green wire is a ground wire run right to a master lug there that'll be, that penetrates the skin, and it's welded right in the building, and they'll put their ground wire.
I noticed one of your display cases in there had a picture of a lightning strike. Now, does that take place here in the shop, or was that outdoors somewhere?
That was out in Springfield, Massachusetts at Lightning Technologies.
So what happens when the lightning hits the building?
Well, what happens when the lightning hits our building is the Faraday cage design keeps that charge on the skin of the building. Nothing comes in here due to all the gasketing, honeycomb filters, and our conductive glands, cable entry glands. Okay. And that picture you saw, that was actually a little over 1 million volts, 87,000 amps on an antenna on a tower. And they registered in here. They had meters in here, less than 10 microjoules. So if you had an amp meter, it wouldn't even move the needle on an amp meter.
Which means the equipment in here is safe.
That's right.
Safe and sound.
And as we move, and I'm sure you've heard of it, you probably don't hear it as much as I do, this LTE, the LTE requirements. Some of those are going to be hardened sites. And that's what Pepro offers, a hardened sites that'll protect against lightning, EMP, and RFI.
Tell me one thing, a unit like this, if it were scheduled to go to a mountaintop or something, explain to me how that happens. I mean, you got all sharp peaks and there's no level ground, right? So how do you cope with that?
That's a good question, and you know, I'm glad you asked that because it's something that I don't really think about because we've been doing it long enough. All our customers provide us with a site survey. And we have some requests there, such as the closest town, the closest facility to stay and to eat. And so that's where our crew will kind of set up camp. And then they have a staging area. And that may be 4 hours away from the actual deployment site.
Right.
All these sites, if we're driving to them, have an access road and are gated. Now, it's not like the nice roads we have in Oil City. They're very rough, rutted up, washed out, trees, brush, you know. Some of them are real nice, but a lot of times you encounter those. We have a couple pieces of equipment. We have a short trailer, a lot of hairpin turns going up the mountain, and you need a short trailer, short wheelbase truck to do that. We have a Ford F550 and what we call a mountain trailer. We also have a piece of equipment that's a telehandler, lifts 6,000 pounds, all-wheel drive. And we'll
How does that get to the site? You don't drive it to the site.
We drive that up to the site.
Do you really?
If you can get a pickup truck to that site, we'll be able to do the install. And the install, if we can drive to the site, that'll save the customer probably at least 60% of the cost for installing.
Wow.
And maybe more.
That's big time.
Renting helicopters is very expensive, plus they're unreliable in the fact that they are required to do forest fire work first during the summer. You won't be able to get a contract with a helicopter company during the summer if there's several fires. And the last few years have been big fire seasons.
Yeah.
And so
Well, you're very customer conscious, though.
we try to be. And
I hear you have a new product as
we
well.
do.
Can we
We
go
do.
take a look at your new
it's
product?
not real new, but it's different than the shelter. It's something we did in
Causing some
addition.
excitement.
Yep.
It's been an interesting tour up to here, and now we have a slightly different product, which I understand you may do a little bit of business with the federal government, Department of Defense. I think veterans in particular may be interested in the next couple of minutes of your story. Why don't you tell me about it while I play with the contraption here.
Go ahead. Thank you, Lee. This is our PT 300 directional antenna mount. It's for the microwave dishes, any type of directional antenna that needs to be line of sight. We have sent these over to Afghanistan.
I'll quit.
60 or 70. No, you're good. You're good. We have this at the show, and that's what goes on. People like to see that. That can be adjusted to 1/4 of a degree. In the more conventional way, what you see is someone has to climb a tower or call the fire department and get the ladder up and actually physically position that directional antenna. We were down in Florida. The founder of the company, Victor Garmung, and myself at a customer's facility in Plantation, Motorola, and they had the fire department there. And what are you doing? You know, and a guy down on the ground looking at signal strength on his laptop. And they said, well, that's how we have to position this antenna, microwave dish, backhaul, and we're lining up with the sheriff department 6 or 7 miles away at Fort Lauderdale. And is that how you do it all the time? That's how you do it. We said, the next time we come down here, and we went down once or twice a year, we'll have a better way of doing it. And here it is, 10 degrees tilt, 60-degree pan. We sell these also to the people operating in the Marcellus industry in the state. They'll align this with the pan for signal strength, and then to correct elevation, they'll do the tilt.
You got one more stop on the
one
tour?
more piece of equipment.
Let's go see it.
Yep, thanks.
We're outside now. We're near the end of the tour. Jeff may have made a mistake. He gave me a control piece here. So I'm going to raise this tower in the back while he tells us a little bit about it. Jeff, go ahead.
Good. Go ahead. You can't hurt it.
I'm on it.
It's made for anybody to operate. This is our 650 LP, low profile trailer. And that's an unguided tower. It's an articulated tower patented by Pepro. Previous to our starting this manufacturing of this tower, all the other ones were a telescoping tower, and they came out within themselves. And you may have seen them around, and the only place that you can put your antennas is right at the very top, because as the sections come out of each other, you can't start adding antennas. So this one, you'll see the RF cable is on there, and you'll see a couple standoffs, you'll see a pan and tilt, and this kind of revolutionized all towers. 60-foot tower, very heavy duty. You can hang a lot of antennas on there. Everybody wants to put more on than towers are rated for. As I mentioned earlier, we provide a drawing, antenna placement, and a load rating, a wind load rating. If you go and add, if the customer goes and decides 2 years later, I want to put an antenna on there, they know to call us, and we'll give them another wind load rating and show them. It's been a great product. State of Pennsylvania has numerous of these models. They've been a good customer.
While I'm finishing raising this up, Kelly, I have one more question for you. I understand somewhere along the way in the last 20 years, there has been some help given the company from one or more organizations in the Commonwealth. Can you tell us about that, please?
Definitely. If you notice, we mentioned several patents in the tour and at different points in the walkthrough, and that doesn't come without a lot of funding. And to help us get that start, and with the technology and getting the patents, Ben Franklin Technology Partners was one of those sources, as well as Northwest Commission right here in Oil City. They've been an essential support system for us and getting our foothold.
Okay, well, most of the credit belongs to you, I'm sure, but thanks. Are we good?
Good on
We're
that.
Thanks
good.
for the plug for Ben Franklin and for Northwest Commission.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for visiting today.
Hey, you're welcome. Jeff, thank you. Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. That's about as much time as we have today. This is Representative Lee James, District 64. Hope you'll join us again at a later date. Bye-bye.